nowhere near it. One of the things I find most fun about Impala is this recent Koji pick as well.
Oh yeah, when did this start? And do you know anything about the mind of Impala going into the Koji? Or
I don't know. I
Okay.
remember him answering that in an interview at CEO. It might not have been an interview, might have been some player there that just told me. But I know that he's confident in Koji. He has been sticking to the Koji ever since, I believe it was CEO, whenever he went for the full on commit, and he hasn't swapped up since.
Yeah, and I mean the Impala neutral has always been something that really stuck out to me. Great ground pound there. And I mean, he still gets the bow, which we saw on his Kaya as well. But I mean, Sword also a very solid neutral weapon. So I feel like this is just a good pick in my headcanon for a player like Impala.
So the way I've had this described to me, considering I am not a top player, is that to be able to play Koji at the top level, there's some creativity involved, but you need to play Koji in a fairly theoretically perfect way in order to win on Koji. So Impala, as you mentioned, have an insane neutral and also being one of the best bows. Honestly, I must say it, one of the best bows global. The pick has been working phenomenally, and we're seeing why right now, as he is on his way of potentially making this 3 stocks versus 1 if Soul isn't able to get this edge guard, which he will.
Yeah, Soul conversely on the Petra, big orb gauntlet champ. I mean, I think maybe the gauntlet struggle, which is why Soul might be favoring more orb versus the bow sword that Impala is showing. But so far looking okay. Yeah, still even up on stocks and doing a great job just controlling center stage.
I mean, especially whenever Impala is on that bow, if you have gauntlets, how are you gonna land? What move are you gonna use to land? What set of buttons are you gonna press on your keyboard? Because that end light will find you. Whenever you're on orb, you have a dare to fight to get back to the stage. You have a Sair. Both of these options are very great. Soul able to get a sidelight Sair off, and it feels like Soul he's taking this lead and he's equalizing it right under our and Impala's noses.
Yeah, oh my god, and Soul just tossing that weapon away, getting the orb right as Impala tries to deny that weapon, but Soul ultimately getting the sidelight Sair confirm. Wow, yeah, amazing comeback. This stock has been all Soul.
Okay, I mean, he keeps it going too. He gets that string started. He's starting to enter some form of flow state here as, I mean, he's just hitting attacks right now, and Paul is having a hard time shutting him down. He gets that Sair in with the sword, and he's going to be keeping this weapon advantage too. The next set of interactions are going to determine the outcome of the game.
Yeah, Soul with a really good understanding of center stage, just pressuring Impala very well. Good cross-up Sair there. And Impala's been challenging it a little more now, just coming in with those Sairs instead of doing a more defensive option. So trying to move in. All right.
Okay. Trying to anti-air Impala with a couple of nairs. Will be able to land back up though. Sidelight to catch that landing. He throws him off stage with a Sair. This could be dangerous. Impala tries to find the confirm, but Soul slips just right by. He's sticking to this orb. He's committed to it.
Oh my god. And now Impala on the sword. This is huge. Both players just one good confirm away from the KO. Oh my god. They're dashing through each other.
Trying to catch that landing, but he sticks to the soft platform for just 1 moment longer. Able to get the Sair in, and it's still not going to be enough. It's so close. Picking up another orb. Weapon throw is going to be able to break into the stage, but the next Sair is going to seal the deal. 1-0 to Soul as he picks up a lead here against the former world champion Impala.
Yeah, who could have seen this coming? Very, very impressive stuff from Soul. And I think I saw an emote at the end too, so doing it with a little more style. Soul also the 19th seed for this tournament, so definitely no slouch coming into this. But yeah, I mean, this would potentially be the number 3 seed dropping to the 19th seed, which is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
I gotta mention, man, the amount of ways that you can play Orb. We mentioned it earlier, the resurgence and the epidemic of Orb players. I talked about how you can play Orb in a very conditional and in a very almost baity manner. Soul, I mean, I feel like last game we could count how many attacks you missed. He was crisp with his attacks.
Yeah, he was super on point, and I feel like the control of center stage was something that I tried to point out a bunch, but Soul just has a really good understanding of how Impala wants to get back in. Even there, I mean, putting on the pressure, Impala manages to cross up, but like I'm still super scared if I'm Impala here.
Okay. Try to get a read out of the sideline, not even going for one of the true combos, but Impala is going to be punishing him majorly on that right side of the stage. He's going to pick up a lead here.
Picking up the weapon after that weapon toss, getting the bounced weapon, that was
class. Class, man. All right, Soul now wants to equalize this as quick as possible. He gets the Nair GC Light combo. Now Impala. Struggling to get back up. This is something that I was kind of scared of. We see Soul very quickly get another orb in his hands. Something that I'm a little bit afraid of is what happens if Impala just doesn't let Soul get orb. That could very easily happen. You know, a couple of bad weapon spawns, some good weapon starving. You might be forced to play some gauntlets, play some unarmed, and I feel like that's definitely something that Impala might be considering right now as well.
Yeah, definitely a win con for Impala, because Soul's orb has honestly been immaculate. The fact that he's keeping up the pace with Impala, a world-class player, is just so impressive.
That is going to be a full stock lead though for Impala, as he is starting to play this better and better for every single stock that's going by. And you see it right there, trying to weapon guard. Soul is able to pick up that orb right back though. He's trying to find some form of way to enter this neutral here. Impala also straight up, he's just whiffing a little bit more. I mean, Soul is doing a really good job at keeping that pressure up and make Impala panic a little bit, throw out attacks that aren't leading into anything.
Yeah, I mean, oh my god. Look at that just juggling by Impala there. Oh my, he makes it back to the stage with the Sair. Playing really safe right now. Yeah.
Oh, sidelight Sair comes out. Sair to bounce him right back up, and the orb Nair is going to interrupt the sword ground pound. Okay.
Oh wait, Impala going for it all? And it works out. I like how Impala is willing to use so much resources, so much momentum to get out there and really put pressure on him, that edge guard. And we're getting like a very rapid pick into the next game.
These guys want to play the game. They want to play the game right now. Keep them coming. Keep these games coming. Now, I do want to ask you something, Junebug.
Yes.
Does the set result 3-1 tell you anything? Just like in general, if you see 3-1 in a bracket.
Oh, if I see 3-1, I'm thinking a player wins one player wins game 1, and the other player adapts hard.
I mean, I'm not one to jinx. I'm not one to try and predict what's going to happen here. But I feel like that's even more the case whenever you have an underdog situation. Now, Soul is all I'm saying. If Impala wins this game, I think we're gonna see that 3-1. And Soul, he needs to adapt right back into Impala to avoid that dreaded 3-1 result.
We saw something similar. I think Kaino was playing somebody yesterday, and it was a very close game 1. They didn't even get the game 1. But then the next 2 games were like 3 stock and 2 stock. So like the top player diff, the top player adaptation is super real. And but Soul's trying to shut us up real quick. And okay, sticking with the orb as well. They know their win cons.
Impala trying to catch that landing with the end light. Soul playing around him very well though. Just as I say so, he's gonna get hit with a couple of good sword strings. Impala's sword gameplay. I mean, we were hyping up his bow not before the set started and during the first game, but his sword, I mean, the sword has been in center here.
Yeah, I feel like there's something about the orb to bow matchup that Impala might not be favoring today, and it's been mostly sword. But I mean, Soul's. Oh my god!
I love
right.
that option so much. The GC desync to get back up, and just like that, he takes control over the stage. Orb there comes out,
God.
and that is going to be the stocks equalized. GC desync, man. The crazy thing about desync in general is how fast you can throw out Sword and Light afterwards. You think you can punish it, you never can.
Yeah, and I just think it was so impressive. Knowing that Soul has just been doing that like center stage dash dance, waiting for specific options from Impala. Now Impala is starting to call them out. You saw there an overshoot aerial, but with that desync, it's just like, I know you're going to be in a certain space. You're not going to be able to react to this option. Super smart.
Now the thing is, I mean, you can outsmart your opponents, you can read them, you can condition them, but if they're winning in 80% of the neutral interactions, you're not beating them. And I mean, we're seeing that right now. Soul swapping over to the gauntlets. I mean, maybe, okay. Come for the offstage, unarmed now, and he's gonna finish it. 2 dares come out, and that's 2-1 on the board. Not only proving us wrong for being an Orb 1 trick, but also able to deny and avoid the 3-1 match result. Soul is he's to be taken very serious, Junebug.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, look at the amount of damage differential there. Lapping Impala and then some. I mean, just at 476 damage, that's double Impala's, but 533, double plus more. And yeah, mostly on that orb. But we're seeing a bit of unarmed, a bit of gauntlets. And the gauntlets counted. That was a really important edge guard with the gauntlets.
Yeah.
That's usually how I feel about good gauntlets play. Like, maybe you won't get the most percent, but the percent you get is going to be a really good edge guard, a really wild stock, and that's important.
It's definitely like 80% of damage, 20% of the time, and not
Right.
not only the damage, because you can win the games with the 2 gauntlet nairs in a way that you just can't with orb. So the damage numbers are just going to be lower, even though they might have the same impact on the game. Now Soul, we see very clearly trying to throw that weapon away, tries to get that orb, and Impala. I mean, you're right in the middle of neutral. You're not really able to throw your weapon and start a weapon starve. So he is helpless, but let's Soul pick up that orb.
Yeah, and Impala playing a little more aggressive now, trying to not let Soul dictate the pace. I mean, we saw it last game, Soul winning neutral an absurd amount of times versus Impala, but let's see what Impala can change up here. So with the phenomenal ledge trapping as well, Impala has not been able to get back onto the stage too well. Soul just controlling a lot of it, and then backing up so well. I'm loving the spacing.
I feel also Soul has just quite simply been more patient than Impala, and Impala playing a bit more aggressively with his movement rather than attacks could be a working strategy, because then you're trying to kind of push Soul to your limits. Like, how much can I run into you before I make you start pressing buttons?
Yes. And
you see the punishes, dude. That's so smart. That's so good. The conditioning, whenever you're fighting a player that's, you know, slightly more parry than you, they know and you know that they need punishes. If they can't get punishes, their entire game plan is ruined. So it's a lot easier to bait them out.
When you say parry, what do you mean? I haven't heard that term.
Waiting for the opponents to attack so that you can punish them rather than going for the approach.
So like more whiff punish, more reactive heavy.
Yeah. You probably have heard passive a number of times instead.
Passive.
I believe parry should be the correct term for it. It's the term I use. At least.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. So yeah, now Impala with a pretty solid lead. Soul finally getting the first stock. The double orbs coming out. As Soul tries to get this 3-1 going. But I mean, yeah, I think Impala is on to the more reactive playstyle of Soul. But as I say that, I mean, Soul's just doing such a good job of avoiding the move, getting the counter hit, avoiding the move. Yeah, I mean, this is still so hard.
There's a fine line between whiffing and baiting. Impala, I'm looking at some of the sword hits, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried if Soul is able to pick up some of these punishes. You see it right there with the end light. Soul is able to get in there and get a true combo, and he's starting to balance this out.
Oh, hard read attempt by Impala. Maybe getting a little impatient here. And the Impala bow has not really been showing up as much as the sword, as we pointed out, but that's like a very important weapon for them. I feel like I associate a lot of the Impala success with how good he is able to control with the bow. So, I mean, the fact that Soul is shutting it down, very, very solid.
Those extra 2 weapon throws were completely unnecessary at this point. And you see him sticking super close to that weapon. It's a pair of gauntlets. He wants to maximize the amount of time that Soul is not on the orb right now, and I don't blame him. That orb is just so good. Sidelight picked up, and Impala, he's starting to get some momentum here. Gets shot down by the Seer though. A second one.
And Soul going for the edge guard, not taking the orbs. Oh my god, going for it all.
Weapon throw, there you go. Guess it picked up. Now Impala just struggling to find a weapon right now. Doesn't really want to commit to any unarmed gameplay, but he goes just a little bit too far to the left, and Soul is able to not only prime himself with another orb, but he takes that stock as well.
Yeah, oh my god. And it's close to even right now. Soul also with a huge comeback. He's got a lot of momentum. I usually favor the more passive player when it comes to this. Like, if they've evened it up and they just need to, like, stick to their game plan more, it's much easier for them versus, like, the more, like, aggressive player who has to, like, oh no, like, calm themselves down almost.
Impala.
Oh my god,
he's doing great so far. The weapon throw into the pickup, looking like one of his favorite tricks to use. He's able to get back up, but only momentarily. Soul doing such a good job at controlling the center stage. Orb Seer comes out, and this could be over if he's not able to get back up. He gets it. He gets the stage back with a sword Seer.
Oh my god, this is so close right now. Impala with a lot of stage control. Does he go for a more aggressive edge guard? Gets the bow. Oh. This is maybe 1 hit away. Oh, Soul goes for it all.
Orb Nair, bow Nair just barely not going to be enough to get the knockout. Sticking to the sword now. Trying to get the landing in. Recovery, and that's going to be enough. We're going to game 5.
Oh god, what a clutch from Impala. That's wild.
All right, we are going to game 5 indeed. What a game we had. You mentioned there are 2 very important things that I'd like to mention about that game. You mentioned how playing slightly more patiently at the end of those games, you would usually favor them. I tend to agree. There's one thing that people don't really consider when it comes to playing patiently, which is that if you are behind and you're playing parry, you're playing patiently, you need to play a lot better than your opponents. Compared to whenever you're playing slightly more aggressive, you might be able to just lock out 1 or 2 times.
Right. But as we get into this game 5, let's see what adaptations these players bring in. I'm expecting, I'm expecting a barn burner, that's for sure. It's been a crazy set. That last set was 1 hit away, or that last game was 1 hit away from the Soul upset. So I wonder if Soul is beating themselves up or staying in it right now.
I mean, you were just that close, and you're given another opportunity by grace of being a game up on the board. It's now or never.
And just playing super patient as well. Not even opting for the gauntlets. They know it's been the orb show as they take a very important stock 1 and keep that orb selection going on.
All right.
Oh, switches to the gauntlets though. I don't know if I like that.
The gauntlets. He's just trying to keep the weapon storm going for as long as possible. Right. See, that's what I also really like about Soul. Not only is he able to carry out this patient game plan incredibly well, that's actually the second thing I wanted to mention. I forgot, can't lie. Having stage control in Brawlhalla really isn't super important unless you play against a player that really understands stage control. And whenever you saw Impala give up stage control and go to the soft platform a number of times on Apocalypse, and he would just not be allowed to touch the ground again. Just being on the soft platform, you're in such a massive disadvantage to Soul, because he understands the stage control, he knows exactly how to pressure you and make you feel uncomfortable, and use that advantage, which in Brawlhalla some would argue is quite small.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you bring that up, because I feel like so many players, They try to contest people going to the soft platforms. Maybe like somebody will try to avoid an interaction by going up there. But Soul's just like, I'm fine with being down here. I will try and shark your landings. You're technically in a little bit of disadvantage right here. I'm gonna play the stage, and it's just good fundies, with a sizable lead right now. Too.
Yeah, I mean we're seeing a true display right now of Soul's fundamentals, but yet again Impala, the weapon throw into pickup. I mentioned yesterday, every time I cast Lopez, I find a new trick to use on Sword. I feel like Impala is showing me a different one, considering I didn't find one from Lopez. That weapon throw into pickup, how many times has he done that by now? 3?
Oh my god, yeah, very much, like, so many times there, but I feel like it's always perfectly aimed too.
Yeah, he's been using it very skillfully, and he is on a good way right now to even out the stock. I would say, if Soul wasn't able to so quickly find that knockout. Almost a full stock lead right now. This could be one of the largest upsets of the tournament thus far, and it's definitely still possible.
Man, between EU and SA and now this, so many upsets in the trial of Freya.
Last tournament of the year. This is what we've been practicing for. This is what we've been preparing for. You've got a whole lot of months of thinking about the tournaments you didn't place the way you wanted to after this one.
And oh my god, we haven't seen the Soul Gauntlets all set, and right now, kind of cooking. Just kind of moving all the way around. Like, these are one of the most patient gauntlets I've ever seen.
The full stock lead is being maintained right now, and Impala is just scrambling, struggling to find anything to get this stock off, but Soul is looking like an immovable object right now. Impala can't hit him. He's all over the place. He swings in with a sideline Sair, and he builds up that damage further.
Yeah, the force is unfortunately not unstoppable for Impala. He is getting edge guarded here. Oh my god. Great downer coming back.
Oh, the D-Sig! Second time around, he already knows that trick is not gonna work. But the sword there, it's gonna get the stock. We're down to final stock situation. The lead is so large. Soul could be 1 or 2 true combos away from getting the stock. He gets the gauntlets.
Okay, pretty big for Impala that Soul does not have. Oh, wait. Okay. Nothing crazy there. But that Soul does not have the orb. No sidelight into Sair right now. But oh my god. Alright, now sidelight Sair is on decks. Just one Sair's not gonna do it.
Not gonna go down. Impala has to come back up to me, he says. Sair not going to connect. Impala able to get back up with a Sair though. He takes the stage back, finds the Nair. We got a juggle set up. He's stuck on the soft platform, but he's able to get back down just to get hit 2 more times by Impala.
Oh, Impala with so much momentum here.
There's no way. He gets the weapon too. The sword in hand. Orb Sair comes out though, and that's going to be the upset. Soul 3-2 on the board. He got it.
Oh my god, that was incredible. Impala was starting to claw it back towards the end, but that's Soul neutral, man, especially on the orb. I mean, the orb definitely steals the show for Soul. What a solid player in terms of that weapon. And, I mean, even with the Soul